Is Pedro Porro truly the rightful heir to Dani Carvajal, or is he simply riding the wave of a breakout World Cup? After the semi-final, many pundits claimed Spain no longer has to worry about the right-back position for years to come. But just as many believe it's far too soon to place Porro alongside a legend like Carvajal. So where does the truth really lie? And what journey transformed a player who once lived in the shadow of his idol into the new hope of an entire football nation?
Dani es uno de los mejores laterales de la historia para mí, es un ídolo, siempre lo he dicho.
Yes, the man we mentioned at the start of this video is none other than Pedro Porro. His full name is Pedro Antonio Porro Sauceda. He was born on September 13, 1999, in Don Benito, a quiet agricultural town in western Spain, around 250 kilometers southwest of Madrid. Porro was raised in a humble working-class family. His father, Luis Porro, worked as a bricklayer. His mother, Eva Porro, worked at a local supermarket. With both parents busy making ends meet, Pedro and his younger brother Victor spent much of their childhood being raised by their grandparents. Antonio Sauceda, affectionately known throughout the family as Maromo and Maria del Carmen. It was in their care that Porro grew up like so many Spanish kids before him, living for football, spending countless hours on the streets with a ball at his feet, long before anyone imagined he would one day play on the biggest stages in the world. But here's the twist. Pedro Porro didn't begin his journey as the attacking right-back the football world knows today. From the moment he first laced up his boots, young Porro played as a centre-forward, and scoring goals seemed like the easiest thing in the world. In an interview with Tottenham Hotspur, Porro himself recalled that in the very first match of his football journey, he scored an astonishing 5 goals. But as the years passed, he was gradually moved out wide and eventually dropped into defense. No one could have imagined that this positional switch would one day shape him into one of Europe's most dangerous attacking full-backs. Getting there, however, meant making a decision no 14-year-old should ever have to make. Porro left his family behind and moved alone to Madrid to chase his dream of becoming a professional footballer, joining the academy of Rayo Vallecano. Years later, his mother, Eva, shared a memory that still resonates with anyone who hears it. As the family drove him away from his hometown, they reached the famous roundabout marked by Don Benito's iconic globe monument. They pulled the car over. No one could find the words. Only silent tears fell as they watched a boy who was still far too young leave home alone to step into the unforgiving world of professional football. In 2017, Porro joined Girona's academy. His talent was impossible to ignore, and it didn't take long before he earned promotion to the club's first team. On May 6, 2018, Porro scored his first goal for Girona's senior side. Just a few months later, in August 2018, he made his La Liga debut against Real Valladolid and quickly made the right-back position his own. Although Girona were eventually relegated, Porro's performances and immense potential were enough to convince one of European football's true giants. In the summer of 2019, Manchester City secured his signature. But instead of walking straight into Pep Guardiola's squad at the Etihad, Porro was sent out on loan to continue his development, spending another spell with Real Valladolid to gain valuable first-team experience. The defining turning point arrived in 2020, when he moved to Portugal to join Sporting CP. It was there that Pedro Porro truly exploded onto the European stage. He became one of the team's most influential players, playing a pivotal role in helping Sporting CP win the Primera Liga for the first time in 19 years. A historic triumph that transformed his career and launched Pedro Porro beyond the borders of Portugal onto the biggest stages of European football. January 2023, Pedro Porro officially left Sporting CP to join Tottenham Hotspur in a deal worth around €45 million. But the Premier League is a different world, the toughest league in football, a place where countless stars who had conquered Europe have seen their careers stall. And Porro was no exception. In his first few months in England, questions followed him everywhere. Was he simply too attack-minded, brilliant going forward, but reliable enough to defend in the Premier League? The criticism came quickly. Many claimed he was too eager to push forward, leaving space behind him, that he could be exposed defensively, and that he was still too Portuguese, too accustomed to the rhythm of Liga Portugal, to cope with the relentless pace and physical intensity of English football. But Pedro Porro never answered the criticism with words. He answered it with improvement. Game by game, the Spanish fullback refined every aspect of his defensive game. Better positioning, cleaner tackles, stronger duels, greater composure under pressure. He was no longer just an attack-minded fullback. He was evolving into one of the most complete wingbacks in Europe, and while his defending kept improving, the qualities that had brought him to the Premier League became even more devastating. Crosses delivered with pinpoint precision, line-breaking passes that tore open defensive blocks, relentless overlapping runs that never seemed to stop, even after 90 minutes. By the end of his first full season in North London, Porro had already set the Premier League record for the most assists by a Tottenham defender. He consistently ranked among the league's most creative fullbacks, while also leading Spurs in key defensive metrics such as tackles, interceptions, and ball recoveries. But perhaps the biggest transformation wasn't found in the numbers. Pedro Porro was no longer simply a fullback who sprinted down the flank and whipped crosses into the box. He had become one of the most important tactical pieces in Tottenham's entire system. Looking at the complete picture, football analysts were almost unanimous in their praise. A light attacking quality, outstanding technical ability, progressive passing capable of breaking opposition lines, and a modern tactical intelligence rarely seen in a player occupying the right-back position. Looking at the bigger picture, football analysts were full of praise for Porro: elite attacking quality, exceptional technical ability, razor-sharp distribution, and the vision to build attacks from deep. And above all, a modern tactical intelligence rarely found in a fullback. By this point, Pedro Porro was no longer seen as simply one of the Premier League's best attacking defenders. He had become one of the most complete right-backs in European football. Then came the 2026 FIFA World Cup. It wasn't just the biggest tournament of Pedro Porro's career. It was the moment he stepped out from the shadow of being just an outstanding club fullback. Throughout the tournament in the United States, Porro established himself as one of its standout performers. Match after match, his name was praised by pundits and media outlets across Europe. He didn't just cement his place as Spain's undisputed first-choice right-back. He played every single knockout match, delivering one commanding performance after another, and played a pivotal role in guiding La Roja all the way to the World Cup final. Their first appearance on football's biggest stage since lifting the trophy back in 2010. On July 2nd, in Spain's round of 32 clash against Austria, Porro scored the first international goal of his career. A perfectly timed header doubled Spain's advantage and marked another milestone in his remarkable rise. But the defining moment came in the semi-final against France, a team overflowing with attacking firepower: Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembélé, Michael Olise. Yet Spain never looked intimidated. They produced one of their most complete performances of the tournament, defeating France 2-0. Mikel Oyarzabal opened the scoring from the penalty spot, but it was Pedro Porro who sealed the victory. In the 58th minute, he exchanged a beautifully weighted 1-2 with Dani Olmo, burst into the penalty area, and calmly finished past Mike Maignan. That goal didn't just send Spain to the World Cup final. It also placed Pedro Porro in the history books. He became only the second Spanish defender ever to score more than once at a single FIFA World Cup, joining the legendary Fernando Hierro. After the final whistle, the praise came from every direction. Europe's biggest newspapers highlighted the same qualities time and time again: defensive discipline, composure under pressure, and the ability to influence the game at both ends of the pitch. The Guardian even described it as a remarkable transformation. From a fullback once questioned in the Premier League to a genuine star on football's biggest international stage. The admiration didn't stop with the media. His teammates and coaching staff were just as quick to acknowledge his impact. On Spain's right flank, Porro and teenage sensation Lamine Yamal developed one of the tournament's most dangerous partnerships, built on instinctive understanding, constant communication, and perfect timing. Spain manager Luis de la Fuente also singled Porro out for special praise, applauding not only his performances, but also the maturity, selflessness, and team-first mentality he displayed on the biggest stage in world football. From a talented club full-back to one of the most talked-about players of the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Pedro Porro's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. From a player once questioned by critics to the quiet hero who helped carry Spain all the way to the World Cup final. But neither his story nor Spain's is over yet. One final challenge still awaits, the biggest match any footballer can ever dream of playing. The FIFA World Cup final. Can Pedro Porro and La Roja complete their journey and bring football's most coveted trophy back to Spain for the first time in 16 years? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you're ready to follow Spain on the final step of their journey, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment La Roja below, so I'll know you're ready to join us for the biggest match of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Until then, take care, and I'll see you in the next chapter.